Hi, I'm Tom Scarpello of Revology Cars, and this is car number 154, a 1968 Mustang GT 2+2 Fastback in liquid blue metallic with Navy Nappa leather interior. Today I'm going to take you on a walk around of this car and we're going to go for a drive. Let's get started. 1968 Mustang GT 2+2 in liquid blue metallic. So liquid blue metallic is a very rare color. In production, it was only ever available on the 2019 Ford GT. Why was it such a rare color? Great question. It's beautiful, gorgeous, very rich, and really does look liquid. This is a case where the name really does it justice. Well, I suspect because it is such a transparent color, it requires a lot of coats of base. This is at least 6, so it's about twice or a little bit more than twice the amount of material, which I think would make it, which would make it very expensive and make it very difficult to do in a high volume production setting. 68 Mustang GT from Revology features the front fog lamps, the horse and corral in the grille, of course the turn signal hood, and at the side the GT badge on the fender, and there's a quarter trim ornament back here on the quarter panel. The original car had a C stripe, a vinyl stripe that accentuated the character line on the side of the car, and it also had an aluminum molding at the bottom, but we've deleted it. We think the look is a lot more clean. It just looks better without that. This client chose the Magnum 500 style wheels, which are an option. And at the back of the car, again, identical to the original 68 GT, the Mustang letters on the deck lid, the GT fuel cap, and the quad exhaust tips. You'd be hard pressed to tell this apart from an original 68 Mustang GT. So the interior. So this client opted for the Navy Nappa leather. This is a Porsche OEM leather, so it has all the abrasion resistance and sun loading characteristics that you would expect out of an OEM leather, yet it looks great, it looks luxurious, and I really like the monochromatic theme. You know, so many modern cars for such a long time have had just shades of browns and grays, but when you go back to the 60s, it was really popular to have an interior color that was actually a color. Blues, there were reds, there were greens, and you know, I think it fits the design theme. It kind of fits the era to have a color-coded interior. So I really like this navy interior. Now, the 68 Deluxe Mustang interior featured faux walnut inserts. Ours are genuine walnut veneer. They're laser cut. So really a very high quality luxury interior. The client also opted for the leather covered steering wheel. Just really nice execution. All right. So interesting story about this color. So it is a very rare color. When we looked up the formula in our database, we couldn't find it. So normally what we do is look up, if we have an OEM color code, we're able to look that up in our paint database. So we use Glazerite coatings. Glazerite is a BASF brand. BASF is one of the major suppliers of OEMs and the refinish industry. And their database, well, in Glazerite, the database has over 50,000 OEM paint codes. And the most automotive finishes are what they call a two-stage. You'll have a base coat and a clear coat. And the base coat is the color coat. And the color is created by mixing a variety of what are known as base tints. And we've got a a paint mixing room with a room full of tints, and we can create any one of these 50,000 plus colors by combining those tints. Typically there'll be 5 to 15 different tints in a specific paint formula. So when we went to look up the liquid blue, it wasn't there. So we contacted our paint distributor, because it has happened sometimes that there may not be a formula for a specific code in the Glazeret brand. There may not be a formula for that code in the Glazeret brand, but there may be in one of the other BASF brands. But in this case, there wasn't a code there either. So now it's this mysterious paint color. We have an OEM code, we cannot get the formula. And so we were a bit at a loss for what to do. So I contacted one of my former colleagues from Ford who had worked on the Ford GT program, and he was able to provide the paint specs. The paint is made by Axalta, which is a competitor to BASF. He also provided application information, the type of gun, the type of gun that was used, the tip size, the pressure that was used. All of these things can affect the way the paint looks in the application, so it's helpful to have all of that information. So we, although it's not as easy as just, okay, it's an Axalta paint color, just call up the Axalta distributor, go pick up a couple of gallons of liquid blue. It doesn't work that way. Paint is a very complex chemical product, and there's interactions amongst all the different coatings, from the epoxy to the urethane to the sealer to the base coat to the clear coat. And you can't just take an Axalta base coat and then sandwich it between BASF sealer and clear coat. You're taking a big risk that there might be some negative interaction amongst the chemicals in those materials. So it needs to be part of the same system. So what we had to do is have BASF create the formula to match the Axalta color, which they did. We got the mix from the local Axalta distributor. We sent that to BASF. We sent that to BASF, and they created the formula. So then we were able to paint or create that mix, the liquid blue mix. And well, now anyone that has access to the Glazeret database can mix up liquid blue. So why wasn't it there before? Probably just because it's such a low volume paint color. And if you think about how many Ford GTs were painted that color, I don't know, but certainly not that many. And how many of those would ever require a collision repair? Probably not that many. I don't know how many actually get driven. It seems to be kind of a garage queen sort of car, unfortunately. So that's the story behind liquid blue. But very nice color. I'm going to have to charge a premium for it because the materials cost is very high and it requires a lot more labor to apply. But I think it's worth it. It's very unique, very rich, and very liquid. But that just shows you the lengths that we go at Revology Cars to make our clients happy.